Okay, so we just talked about changes at the Disneyland Resort and changes overall at the Disney parks themselves, where they have this emphasis on lightning lane, the emphasis on efficiency, and all this kind of stuff. Well, now, cost cutting begins in a big way. Here you go. From Theme Park IQ, Disneyland has released the park hours for the opening day of the holiday season. And it looks like Disneyland will close at 11 p.m. and DCA will close at 9 p.m. This is very odd, as past years, Disneyland during the holiday season has always had midnight closing times. That's why Lou said wow, because this is a Friday, the first Friday featuring holidays put up, all established, and it's closing at 11. This is a big deal, because
and
usually
9 at DCA. Does that mean that the show is not going to happen, or it's going to happen in dusk rather than darkness?
I would assume, because the sun does fall earlier. It's going to be fairly darkened up, but that's going to be the last thing that you're going to be able to see if they do put on a show at all. And I haven't gotten clarity yet as to whether that's going to happen. I'm assuming it is, but it's like you're going to close the Disneyland Resort basically starting at 9 and Disneyland at 11. That is absolutely insane, and it's insane for a multitude of reasons. Let's see if I can put this on
They're
screen
making
right
park
now.
hoppers wait till later in the day to get into both parks?
Yeah, so
that's kind of strange, isn't it, or is it?
Well, so park hoppers, ever since the shutdown, Lou, they have changed the way that park hoppers can actually visit the parks. Previously, I think it was like you couldn't transfer over till 2, I believe, was the,
but it didn't say
the
transfer,
initial hours.
It just said admission, period, right?
Well, yeah.
Does that mean when you move to the other park, you have to wait till 11? Okay.
Right. So if you reserve your first park, you have to wait until 11, and then you can actually make your way over. But to your point, Lou, I mean, now you're limiting access to that park. Let's say if you go over Disneyland from DCA, now you're limiting access to that for 12 hours rather than 13, as it previously was. And this is bad for a number of reasons. For the city of Anaheim, remember, Disneyland Resort is surrounded on all sides by streets. You have, Ball Road to the north. On the east side, you have Harbor. South, you have Catella, right? And then I think it's Walnut on the west side right there.
Which, for those who do not know the origin of the name Catella, there was a farmer there who had 2 daughters whose names were Kate and Ella, for real. And that's where Catella got its name.
Right. And Walt was actually asked whether or not he wanted to go ahead and change the name of that street. But he loved the story so much, he just kept it the way it was. But let me see if I can get this on screen right now. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. You see the 5 kind of cutting through there. That's the yellow. But this, Walnut, Ball, Harbor, Catella. The reason I'm bringing this up is because when people leave the Disneyland Resort, and when they're forced to leave all at once, guess what happens to the streets next door?
Bad things.
Bad things. I had heard from one person I was talking to about this that the closing time was so early that they ended up spending like an hour in the parking structure and the street that connected to like Ball Road, for example, just waiting to leave because the streets were that packed out. And this is why the city of Anaheim actually prefers that Disneyland stay open, so as to not have everybody forced to leave at the same time, which is what this 11 p.m. closing date will inevitably ensure. And it's just, it's really, really frustrating as guests.
And by the way, you know who else gets caught in all that traffic? Any of the hotel buses that are taking people back to their hotels in the neighborhood.
Exactly. Yes. It just overwhelms every single system.
Which means if your hotel has a coffee shop that stays open till midnight, because you figure people coming out of the park who don't want to spend money in the park because it's expensive are going to eat back before they go to their room, sorry, they won't get there in time.
Wow.
Right. And it gets even worse, but I'm going to go ahead and hold off on that. MJ, Erika, I want to go ahead and know from you guys what you think about cutting the hours back in these theme parks. We've seen it for Walt Disney World for a bit now, but now Disneyland joining in, I don't think it's good.
I mean, if the crowds are that, thick and large, you would think staying open later makes more sense.
Yeah, somebody has done interesting math that says our staffing cost is more than what we'll make from the shops and the restaurants if we stay open.
Exactly.
That's kind of weird.
That's a really
I'm a night owl. I like it when parks stay open late, I love being out late at night. It's just, I've always been that way. And I actually will spend more money in the evening than in the afternoon. I don't know why that is. As you're leaving the park, that's when I get grabby. I want the snackies on my way out, or I see a really cute handful of souvenirs.
And especially at the holidays, when people don't necessarily have school to go to the next morning for some of those days.
Right.
And some of them don't have work to go to the next morning. So why shouldn't they stay out?
These are weekends, so no issues of school. And
That's even weirder.
And this is the first day of the holiday season. Everybody's going to be packing in, especially starting at like 6 when they get off work. You would expect them to close at midnight. Back in the day, they used to close at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, well, the city didn't like that because of operating hours and all that. So they shifted it back to midnight. But back in the 90s, I remember staying till like 2 in some cases. It was crazy. MJ, we've seen this at Walt Disney World. We have seen this cutting back of hours, and it's no good. Could you walk us through maybe some of the decisions that you have to make differently as a guest in order to take this into account?
Well, yeah, it's not a good sign that Disneyland is following the footsteps of Disney World. I think it was after the pandemic, right? We lost all the after, like, what do you call this? After hours, magic hours. And now they're bringing it back next year, but that's a separate ticketed event. I do miss the days where you could just, your ticket was good until 1 a.m. So you could, as a family, you could go in the morning, enjoy the park, go back to your hotel, enjoy the pool, take a nap, maybe have some lunch, and then go back to the park, and you have your nighttime parade and all the, like Erika said, shopping and getting some little munchies here and there to take back home.
And remember, MJ, for you at Disney World, to get to and from any of the hotels is what, like round trip, at least an hour by the time you get on a bus or a monorail or something, as opposed to Disneyland where it's right there across the street from each other.
That's true. You got to remember, like, depending on where you're staying, you have the resorts on the monorail, and then you have your other resorts, and those shuttles, they usually run every 15 to 20 minutes, and they're pretty good about it. But yeah, it's all revamping, replanning, and it's a shame. Like Erika said, the night owls, the parks are so beautiful at night. Yeah. And some people just can't make it in the morning or something, little kids get cranky. They want to go take a nap, and then you guys come back and you can enjoy the fireworks. This is not okay that they're doing that. I have a question though, because I'm not on the West Coast. Do they have some kind of construction going on I'm just trying to think of why would they, besides, budget cuts and, are they doing overnight construction? What's going on that side?
I don't think so. The only construction projects that are really in full force right now, anyway, are Ventures Campus, the Infinity Defense, and Stark Flight Lab additions to that area of Disney California Adventure. But that's in a whole separate part of the park.
It's a pretty sequestered area. It doesn't conflict with foot traffic and the rest of the park.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And at most, it would only affect DC. It wouldn't affect Disneyland. And here's the other problem right here. Starting October 27th, they're going to be closing at 10 p.m.
Oh my God.
At least during the week. And so it's like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, you really are removing so much of the atmosphere and the hours from people's day. I mean, is this to elicit more 3-day, 4-day, 5-day park hopper multi-day pass tickets? I'm not sure.
You're telling locals who used to maybe go after work and stay, don't bother. There aren't enough hours to make it worth your time and the fight on the freeway.
Exactly. I really dislike this. I understand the operational savings from it, but man, this is, you know what? I haven't played this in a while, and I think I should.
You didn't. Well, of all the cheap, lousy ways to save a buck.
Right on.
I love that line. That's one of my favorite.
And would you look at this right here, folks? It looks like Disney got the message. Check it out. Friday, November 14, 2025, the date that we were seeing before. It looks like they have changed the hours officially. You can see right here, park hours from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. to midnight. This is the first official day of the holiday season. So that, I will say, is very, very good. They are heading in the right direction. Still, you have 11 p.m. closing times, but it is encouraging that they're at least getting the message that, hey, we want these parks open later. Saturday, though, this really should be midnight. I understand if you want to have Sunday at 11 p.m. One could make the argument, okay, well, you got the locals. They're going to be heading out early anyway because they got to get to work on Monday. Maybe 11 p.m. is okay, but Saturday, there really is no excuse. Again, that's going to be the most expensive day that you have on offer that week, basically. And 11 p.m., there's no excuse for it. See right here, Disney California Adventure. That is open until 10 on Friday as well, but it quickly switches to 9 in line with Disneyland hours. Now, if we actually adjust this calendar and go all the way out to the latest date available, that's the 24th, that's a Monday, you can see right here, even more encouraging news. If we look at the hours, midnight. So it looks like, and it looks like Tuesday is midnight as well. So it looks like they're getting the message. It looks like the heat is starting to affect Disney as they shift stuff around. But it also shows that under current management, they really don't know what they're doing. They should be able to forecast this far better. They should be able to recognize, without a shadow of a doubt, what hours they require for which days. They've been doing this for 70 plus years now. So it's just, there is no excuse. But I want to go ahead and deliver this update to you. If you haven't yet liked the video, what are you doing? Go ahead and like the video, hit that subscribe button. Hey, there's a little hype button down there now as well. That would really help us out. If you really do like this video, go ahead and share this out to your friends, family, or anybody who might be booking a trip to the Disneyland Resort. I think it might actually help them and give them some enhanced perspective. My name is Vash Sky. Make sure you follow That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.